welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a cute little layout of my little girl Margot. She was 2 days old in the picture, but she's 6 months tomorrow. This is a collection I actually got on Peachy Cheap that I got all of these cute little goodies. And it's the Maggie Holmes Chasing Dreams collection, which I used to never be able to order the little girl stuff, and now I do, and I'm very excited to start scrapbooking her stuff. So I'm just looking through the paper pad right now. I'm trying to find stuff that kind of has that pinks and that aqua tealy color to it, because that's kind of what she's wearing. I'm kind of just checking out everything. The nice thing about this paper pad is none of the papers are the same. They're all different. So I don't have any doubles. So I picked kind of like a watery color, and then I picked a little hearts and a pink stripe, and then this one's got kind of pinks and aquas, tealy color stripes too. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do behind the main picture, but I end up doing the little hearts just to kind of accent the little hearts on her little hats. But I really actually like this paper collection. All of the papers are kind of different. They're not all just like all florals. There's some bunnies and some butterflies and a lot of florals that are different. They're not just the same florals over and over. So I'm going to use my paper cutter. This is the best paper cutter I've ever had in my whole life. I go through the kind that you slide. I go through those blades really, really fast. And the guillotine ones, you don't have to replace the blades. So it's working really well. It took me a while to kind of get used to it. But now I've got it down and I don't cut the pictures at an angle anymore. So I backed it with the hearts. And now I'm using kind of that mismatched paper scrap striped line one. I'm using that in the background. And I actually decided to not cut all the sides down to make it kind of like an even layering. I do leave a side open just because how she's laying, it's kind of like her body, so the picture kind of is supposed to flow that way, I feel. So then I'm using kind of the watery color, florally, I don't really even know what to call that one. I'm trying to figure out how I want to put it on there. Those yellows kind of are bugging me when I start doing it, but I actually end up really embracing the yellow and kind of adding a little bit more yellow in my project. So I'm going to cut off the extra line, and then I'm going to keep layering the picture. So I love this picture of her. She was the sweetest baby. I have 2 older boys if you're new here, and she is just like a breath of fresh air. It is just amazing how sweet she is, because they were kind of, my oldest was really sweet. I can't say he wasn't sweet, but my middle guy, man alive, he just came out judging the world. He was ready to go, and he wanted to do everything his own way from the second. And she's just so nice and just cuddly. It's been very pleasant. So cutting all my papers down still, there was a lot just because it was a small picture, so I wanted to make sure that her face had a presence and not just kind of hidden away with all of the extra ephemera and stuff I'm going to add. But this is the first time I've used this collection, so I kind of had a hard time deciding what I wanted to use just because there was so much. Oh, right there I ran out of tape, so I'm kind of freaking out at the moment, but I was like, I got this. So I redid my tape. I've actually gotten really good at filling that ATG gun because I go through tape real fast. So I heard somebody was saying on one of the scrapbooking groups that they use Tape Jungle. So if anybody out there has used them before to order their tape from, I'm very curious because it's really inexpensive when you order it in bulk. And the Scotch stuff is like $10 for 2 rolls, and that's insane without the coupon. So I'm looking through the chipboard sheets. I really like that big giant pink one, but I kind of feel like the color is a little too bright for the picture, so I go with a little lighter one. And I always glue a little extra on the back because that sticky stuff kind of wears off after a while. And even though this is a new pad, it's going to run out at one point, and I don't want my stuff all falling off when I'm looking through this over the years. And I really am liking how it's angling down, so I've kind of decided in my head, all right, I'm going to do kind of a slant in the pictures. And looking through my albums, I kind of noticed that's kind of my theme, is doing everything at kind of like an angle down the page. So here is a little piece of the chipboard that just says, "You are my hearts," and so I'm gluing that down on top of the sticky parts, and I got a little too much glue because that's kind of my issue, is I always use way too much glue. So I'm really liking how everything's kind of starting out, but the pieces in this are all really big, and because she's so little in it, I kind of was a little overwhelmed. So I decided that in my head I was gonna I'm gonna do the title Lovely Dreams because she's sleeping. It actually ends up being Happy Lovely Dreams because I moved that lovely because it just didn't look right with the dreams. And so I'm peeling off this dreams, and this has kind of got like a gold shimmer on top of it. So I want to really make sure I add the extras of that. See, that's what I'm talking about. The dreams just didn't look right where it would have been under the lovely. So I kind of figure out where to put it, and I'm like, all right, well, we'll try to make it work because that's kind of what we do. We make it work. So I'm just kind of looking at that. I'm like, the lovely looks kind of weird. But I'm going to keep trying. So that little gold heart I did is kind of going off of the foil on the dreams, so I want that somewhere. And I've never in my life been this indecisive on a scrapbooking layout. This is only my second layout I've done with her, and I think that I kind of was like lost. I was like, I don't know how to do this for a girl, because normally I save all of these Maggie home sets for either Mother's Day or when we go to a wedding, because of these two crazy boys that all they like are dinosaur and trucks. So the flowers doesn't usually go with them. So I added a bow and some hearts. I'm pretty sure everything I've just put down is going to move. So I hope you don't love it there because I don't think it's staying there. So I did add that little pink heart at the top. I'm working on my lighting. I'm in my new craft room. So my lighting's just kind of a little weird. Here's a little piece of clipboard that just says XOXOXO and then a little piece of a heart. So I'm adding that. Here's when I'm like, this lovely's not working, so I'm going to peel it off. And of course I put the glue down already. So I'm thinking of how I'm going to cover up that glue stain. So I'm really happy I moved the lovely. I feel like that really changes kind of how everything is. And me and that little pink heart go through a little bit of a battle. Poor little pink heart. So then I added a gold heart again and then a yellow one. And I'm like, what am I doing? And I feel like I really have to add a yellow. I added a yellow flower at the top because I kind of like to do a triangle of where colors are. So there's I found my happy. I'm like, oh, but happy lovely dreams. But I wanted to make sure I had enough yellow so that those couple yellow spots didn't look just strange and out of place. Because I really wanted my colors to all marry together. So I'm going to add a couple little hearts here and there. I'm trying to pick things that aren't over. It's that poor yellow heart. I want to use it so bad. That is where it actually stays. It took me forever. And now I'm trying to figure out what floral I want to put because I need another floral. And that one's too similar to the big giant one, so I decide on that hotter pink one, just so it doesn't all look like I'm using the same thing, just in different sizes. So now I'm kind of looking at it, and I'm like, I just don't know. What should I do? It needs something extra, but I don't know what. And like I said, I've never been this indecisive about these. Then I'm like, oh, there's these cute cut-aparts, and I am really in love with cut-apart tags. So I decide that little floral one because it kind of goes with everything and it's not going to stand out too much, but it's still going to have a presence. So I'm fussy cutting that, and I'm pretty happy with how that little piece looks. I'm going to put it up by her cute little face. And it does say hello XOXO on it and a little bit of a heart. But I hope everybody's having a really good January so far. I cannot believe it's gonna post this probably tomorrow, so it'll be the 21st in the United States, and man alive, this month is flying by. I cannot believe how fast already this year's going. But I have had a lot of opportunities to scrapbook lately because we had a big snowstorm in South Carolina, which was ridiculous, and my youngest is finally, or my oldest, sorry, is finally back in school, so I can actually have a little bit of time. But Margot actually turned 6 months on the 21st of January, and I cannot believe it. I had a little teal heart, and that little thing, I could not find a place for it to save my life. So I'm glad I finally found a home for it. And I'm just deciding what else I want to do on this ginormous layout. That's the thing. You have a small picture and this big piece of paper, and I'm like, I need to fill this up. and it's hard to be like, when am I going to stop? So then I brought out the Maggie Holmes sticker book from Hobby Lobby that American Crafts came out with, and these came out kind of at the same time, so a lot of the florals and a lot of the fonts are the same, and the colors mostly, but a lot of Maggie Holmes stuff stays kind of the same. I think that's why maybe I like it so much. But I'm cutting down this little piece of kind of washi tapey, I don't even know what it is, but I really love all of the options in these books if you've not seen them. The only thing is it's so thin. The stuff is so thin, so you can't really layer it. You can't really put it on top of anything with like a pattern because you can definitely see through it. So you have to be very careful how you use it. Or I've been actually putting it on like white cardstock and like fussy cutting around it just so I can use things. So I put that little piece of pink with the hearts down on the side. And now I'm kind of just going through and seeing what can go on here that's going to add to it and not make it look too crazy. So, I mean, the colors in this are so beautiful, and I'm just so happy that I can finally use things like this. So I love that ballerina. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, but I'm gonna find something. So like I said, I'm just looking through and I'm trying to find things that are gonna kind of just make her picture really just pop. That's really what I try to do the most of my pictures, is just really accentuate what's going on in the picture. So I'm adding these little plus signs. I think I kind of make them X's and plus signs by the end of this, just because it kind of adds a little bit of an extra. The only thing I didn't like about this little kit, and I'm sure if I'd bought the whole kit and not just the 3-piece that came in, or 4-piece thing that came in the Peachy Cheap little deal, they probably had like enamel dots, but I kind of figure out something a little later. So now I'm just adding a little bit of words. I just added a today that was in kind of that aqua-y, tealish, mint colored. And then I'm going to add a couple more. I didn't realize, like I said, I'm in a new craft room. I'm still working out the bugs. The way I was filming before isn't going to work. I'm kind of figuring everything out. I think I've got all of my stuff on there. And then I'm like, I need some kind of splotches, but I don't have any like Heidi Shine that isn't like a blush color. So I decided to make my own watercolor. So I'm kind of checking out different colors, and that pink's really good. And I add a little bit of a tan to kind of tone it down to the blush. I'm kind of making my own swatches, seeing if the colors match, adding, taking away, kind of making things more watery. But the end result in this is I couldn't have asked better for it. So this is probably one of my favorite techniques that I've been using right now. The only thing is you really have to make sure you cover your picture. Things can go wrong really, really fast. So you want to try out a couple times, or I mean, if you're like a super perfectionist, this might not work for you because sometimes like giant globs happen, which it did happen. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm fixing that. And sometimes things work out well for you and sometimes they don't. And in this case, the mark was a little just too big, so I do find a couple little hearts to kind of cover it up and camouflage it a little bit. So I'm almost done. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you have any questions, put them down in the comments. And remember to subscribe and hit the like button so others can find this. Have a great day. Bye.